Why, hello there, my fellow profiteers. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Ostranauts Fire in the Hold. Episode 46, Making a Shipload of Cash for Guns. Alright, laser batteries placed. We'll grab the olivine and the silicates. And get some shut-eye before heading out, because we did neutralize all the meat here, so it's really not a threat to me anymore. So it's 9:27 in the morning. I wonder if you can be micro-striked. You probably can, right? 9:27. And I'll do the full 6. More curry. My character probably smells delicious. It's a joke, because, you know, if I'm trying to pick up chicks, smelling of prawn curry is, not my favorite, I bet. Okay, lasers down. I don't know what that's about. Sure, that's like social bugs. Not my problem. Alright, zooming all the way in. We are done here. I probably should have searched the local area for, like, threats before I went to sleep. Oh, that's not good. Ostranauts crashed. Unity. Error. I don't know when my last autosave was, but right now it's, like, uploading a bug report. So if you're wondering why the screen isn't moving, that is why. Game CTD'd. Up. Well, I suppose it's a good time to mention the last update to the game. So this was back when I jettisoned the iron. Oh, that sucks. That's, like, not super recent. Rip me. Sounds like 1.0 ready to me, says nobody. Yeah, so the last update that was not last stream, but just before last stream, was supposed to fix some crash to desktop stuffs. Do I wish there was more done? Yep. Would this game benefit from a half-year worth of patches and fixes and AI overhauls and stuff? Yep. Do I still love it? Sure. Yes, of course. Time to increase autosave frequency. The problem is, even if I did that, they overwrite one another, even if you keep a few copies. So it's one of these situations where it's like, unless I can keep, like, a backlog of 10, there still could be problems. So I'm a weird-looking guy, sleep-deprived, haggard, chip covered in blood and raw meat, smelling of curry. I would say all ships probably smell like gunpowder, though. You know, because space smells like gunpowder or whatever. So, I'm back to not... Oh, this is annoying. So I still have shiny cores to pick up. Sorry, chat! I mean, it's not my fault. I'm a little worried that it's going to happen again, but I'll cross that bridge when I get there. So I'll try to make this as painless and as quickly done as possible, but, you know, no promises. Yeah, I'm no longer hungry. Cool. Can't get there. Yeah, you can. Shut up. Yeah, the smell of body odor is probably very strong in the stations. Actually, well, I don't know about Calico, but K-Leg probably smelled of cigarette smoke. Oh, what the heck? Oh, I missed it. There we go. Combine the right thing. because in lore, the shipbreakers on K-Leg smoked like a chimney, even though they'd be fined for clogging up the CO2 scrubbers. They kept smoking anyway. That's in game lore. So K-Leg definitely smells of cigarette smoke. I don't know what Calico Station would smell like. I haven't noticed a lot of cigarette butts on Calico, so maybe smoking is a lot less common on Calico. But I mean, people that have ever been on the ISS, and maybe it's unique to the ISS, I don't know. Whether Russian or Chinese stations have reported the same. But apparently space smells a lot like burnt steak and gunpowder, which is super weird to think about. Also, how am I mining right now? Game? Apparently I was mining with my Homelander eyes, because I definitely didn't have a laser in my hand, and I definitely was mining. I mean, technically you don't need it in your hand, I guess, because it's not like you don't use your Weber laser with it in your suit, but still, seems odd. Isn't that true about the lunar regolith? Yeah. Well, I think it's that space smells like oxidized metals. There was actually a real worry whether the lunar lander was going to explode or whatever. There was a huge... there was a lot of concern about whether the lunar regolith would rapidly oxidize when finally exposed to the oxygen of the lander, because obviously it isn't exposed to oxygen on the moon, and there was some real concern about fire and fire risks, whether that would truly pose a big risk to the astronauts. So there was and they didn't really know at the time. No, I don't want that. So yeah, I bet most of space in Ostranauts settings smells like oxidized metals, or gunpowder in a way, which is kind of what oxidized metals smell like. And why burnt steak? Because oxidized iron, which would be the most common metal to find up in space, because it's kind of the most common metal in the universe, given that it fuses early in the life cycle or death cycle of a star. Smells, we know what iron smells like. Kind of like blood, kind of like burnt steak, I guess. So yeah, it makes sense. But then there was the other risk, and games, I've never seen a game address this one, which is, in an absence of an atmosphere, dust on these worlds would be like super toxic, in the same way that asbestos or silica dust is toxic to humans. Space dust is like similarly toxic because they're all very needle-like. They haven't been worn down. So space dust is like asbestos needles to our bodies. And it would probably shred our lungs and give us brown or black lung, like very, very, very quickly without proper filtration, which, dirt poor, well below the poverty line space miner is not getting that kind of treatment. Oh, where the hell are you going? It's kind of neat that the metal that kills stars made life possible for us. Yeah, the first few generations, well, not the first generation of stars, but the first supergiants, generation of the supergiants, made the heavy metals. Because it's not like our stars making a heck of a lot of heavy metals. What is the sun set to? What carbon is? How I forget how far it's gonna go in terms of its death cycle once it's time. A quick browser search probably has the answer. I just don't have it memorized. But it is fascinating for sure. So, we got 2 left. Suit battery is fine. Mining battery needs some love. Got it. Wait, I didn't do that correctly at all. There we go. Carbon is its final... Okay, I nailed it. Good! I have a pretty good memory, but, like, certainly not eidetic. You know, I don't have, like, a photograph or eidetic memory, so, like... when I spout what seems like fact in my memory that I know I could be wrong about, it's really good to be fact-checked. Always fact-check. Yeah. We don't have a star that will go supernova, exactly. You know, our sun is a yellow dwarf, you know, like a G type main sequence star. It's not going kaboom like some can. Oh, I'm too far from my... Okay. I was hoping I would be able to get a little bit of nav info while here, but nope, apparently not. Is there another shiny here? It kind of looks like there is. Like, I'm almost certain there is. Yeah, I haven't said on this stream, but I spoke a bit about, like, star stability when playing Star Sector. Only because in Star Sector, you'll find a lot of Terran worlds, which are, like, human habitable, like, Goldilocks type worlds. And Star Sector kind of gets it wrong, where there will be human habitable Terran worlds around stars that really couldn't ever support that. Like red dwarves or brown dwarves or white dwarves. Because the Goldilocks zone of those stars are massively inside the radiation belt of those stars, that where water is a liquid around red, white, and brown dwarves. Because those dwarves are very stable stars. They're going to be around for like trillions of years, whereas our star certainly will not hit trillions. Obviously, it will fizzle out in, 12 billion or whatever. But the radiation belts of the dwarf stars are too close to their water as a liquid zone that you would never really get at like a truly habitable planet unless there was like, I don't know. I mean, possibly you have some sort of massive magnetic dynamo that like protects you from the radiation belt. But like that's one of the issues of the Galilean moons of Jupiter is pretty radioactive, meaning that like one of the most radioactive places in our solar system is the Galilean moons. Because Mercury too, of course, but like Ganymede, for instance, is just bathed in Jupiter's radiation, and it doesn't have the kind of magnetosphere that Earth does to deflect that stuff. It doesn't have an atmosphere to mitigate it, so it's getting bombarded by bad stuff. Now, with that said, water mitigates radiation really, really well, obviously. That's why they're used in like nuclear reactors and the like. And a moon like Europa that has a big old ocean might have life, because that big old ocean is protecting it from all that bad radiation. But I find it interesting. A lot of some video games like go full fantasy, some try to go science, but most of them don't get it right, even when they go full science. All right, here we go. The childhood memory. I think that was like the reoccurrence of it. I don't know, because of the having to load due to bugs. I forget the order of operations now. But there we are. Now we're tired again. I haven't had error logs being thrown Scary signs, though. So maybe we're good this time around. We'll see. Yeah, Star Sector can't be both accurate and playable. That's a... Well, yes and no. Star Sector could be more accurate and playable if there was a lot more low luminosity maiden sequence stars for habitable planets. It's just that they throw a bunch of habitable planets in places that you wouldn't ever find them. But, I mean, at that point, I'm being pedantic and I realize it and I don't really care. Ultimately, my view about games is they should be fun, first and foremost. And if they need to be... If it needs to be more science fiction and less science to be fun, do it. Right? Like, I find myself saying that frequently, playing games like space... mostly playing space games. But, you know, playing a game like Stationeers, which is heavy engineering... It's like, I wouldn't want Stationeers to be true to life because one person could never reasonably build a space station on their own and expect to live more than like 20 seconds, right? It would make a horrible game if it was super realistic. Horrible game. So it's like, yeah, okay. I don't want a realistic game because it would be miserable is like a pretty accurate thing to do, say. Maybe it wasn't shiny... Oh, I just, like, found gold outright. Yeah, I guess there wasn't an extract here. I was wrong. I thought I saw it, but it was wrong. Alright, well, that means we can pack up and go. So let's do that. And please don't fatal on me while I sleep. I would appreciate that. Oops. I didn't realize my shirt was all beat up. IG maneuvers, maybe? Maybe I never had a good one. I don't know. Alright, I'm going to save now. Because I now have a fear. And I should probably increase the autosave frequency because it doesn't seem to be going fast enough. But I'll save manually. Oh, and two people reminded me in chat to do that. Yeah, yep, I remembered. Like I said, I try not to make the same mistake twice for your benefit and for mine. In the options, you do have a autosave frequency, so I'm going to reduce this down to like 10. Max save counts like, let's do 5 and 10. And if it gets too intrusive where it's like autosaving too frequently, I can change that again. But I generally don't crash the desktop in this game. Which is why my autosave frequency was like a more generous 15-minute. Alright, finally unconscious. So again, we're at 9. So I took 4 more minutes longer this time. Well, that's going to be deducted from my pay. Alright, looking around. Looks pretty chill. Ceres, or Calico base, is in a really good spot for me to actually board at. Which is great, because sometimes it's like behind the, moon, or dwarf moon, or dwarf planet, or whatever you want to call it. But it isn't, so we're good. So now we're going to return back. Oh, God. I can... Oh, man. The ship, because of all the ore I got, is handling like a piece of crap. I was trying to stop my, my rotational, slow down my rotation, and it was like... Yeah, it was very sluggish. Drop a claim on my way out? Yeah, it's not a bad call. At this point, I probably like slam into it, so I'm not gonna bother. I don't need more rep, is the thing. And all that's really gonna do is like attract some unwanted attention, before I have big missiles to be able to go, haha, delete. So, I'll stay the course for now, at least. Killing my cross velocity for a moving target is kind of worthless. But whatever. Accelerate. So 3 kilometers a second. Let's top off on that. Any faster than that, it's really hard to avoid the asteroids that I'm like destined to careen into. Shut up. How's there only 4 crew? What is going on with Calico Station right now? I guess crew... No, how is there only 5? Hello. I'm glad you don't have physics, because you would have died there. And probably there. But I'll mark you down as insane. Or friendly and insane. And I am going to have to do some adjustment maneuvers myself. Once I pass by this asteroid, I'm going to have to burn down to not hit this one. There we go. Perfect. I might hit that thing out there, but it doesn't look like I'm going to hit anything else. So, smooth sailing for a bit. Contrary to what my proximity alarm has been screaming at me about. Shut up! I'm not hitting anything! Stop it! Or something, I don't know. Whee! Really? I'm not gonna hit that. Shush. I got close, but like it was calculated. So yeah, I think we have a clear path all the way to Calico. There doesn't seem to be anything else in the path. So I'm gonna do a deceleration burn once I clear the last of the asteroids, so I don't slam into them trying to slow down. Ooh, Coalition of Ceres extraction. That's a hostile ship right there. It's like just a mining ship, so I'm not going to treat it like a hostile, because it's just a mining ship with no weapon systems, but still. Interesting to see them in my neck of the woods. Bully the mining ships is the wrong neighborhood. Maybe if it's there after I like install missiles as like a missile firing test. How's that for a compromise? All right, one final slow down. Oh, here's another one. Well, they got close and they were like, "Oh, I'm out of here," because I'm a gunboat, not a gunboat, not a gunboat. So I'm the only gunboat around, but I definitely freaked them out. Okay, we are within the no-wake zone. I'm not too worried about money at this point, because, like, I have so much valuable stuff on my ship that the fuel costs for refuel is gonna not hurt at all. Are you kidding me? You are... You know what? I take it back, guys. I take it back. Actually, you know what? I need for him to pass over Calico, because I don't want to lock resolve and then to have him in the splash zone of getting murdered. But yeah, this idiot is an idiot. Get out of my neighborhood. Nothing like docking with the space station while like murdering someone. It's like pulling up to the police station while like doing a drive-by on someone else. Alright, coil guns have 47, rails have 73. Yeah, I can still fire it. But I'm pretty sure they're just going to smash up against Ceres now, so I'm going to unlock. Because he's dead. My guess is he doesn't even have comms or nav anymore. Splat! Don't know who that was, but they're dead now. No mercy. Alright, you're friendly. You don't even have a tag sign. What the hell? What are you? You're just some random hauler? It's not my enemy, at least. Alright, so I'm doing some deceleration. We're 15 out, gonna slow down more. Coming in for the burn. I do find it's easier to let Ceres rotate towards you. It's easier to dock this way than that way, to not fight the sort of like rotational, you know, because then you can slow down and it kind of like comes to you, which makes it a little easier. All right, coming in for a docking. Yeah, that was a beast or hauler. I'm not really, I don't know why I didn't have a faction tag. But I wasn't about to open fire next to Calico anyway. With collateral damage and all that jazz. Don't need to ruin my rep. Oops. There we go. Alright. So I don't think I'm going to bother trying to get like the full tally of everything that I have. Because I'm selling meat and ore. So I'm just going to go straight to the sundries. To sell the meat. And then sell all the ore for comp script. For Galfed script. And it ought to be a tidy sum. Also, before I go, let's do damage viz. Just to say, I mean, I know it's going to have a lot of false positives, but I just wanted to check to make sure I didn't, like, micro-strike anything. It doesn't look like I have any micro-strike damage, which is good. I didn't last time check who was going to offer best prices on meat. But the meat I have gives me 11k. 125 meat. Let's check Testudo. See if they're willing to buy. Nope. Okay. It's not even wanted. Okay. Sundries it is. Was there a meat ship? No, there was a meat asteroid. So that meat basically pays my power bill. And you know, just out of like curiosity, if I did, I will tally it. I said I wouldn't, but I'm going to do it anyway. If I was going to sell everything... Well, with that said, the sundries dealer doesn't give me the best price for the ore anyway, so this isn't perfect. It's actually, like, really inaccurate, I would say. 140k here? Yeah, that I've reset. Right, we'll just sell the meat. Because the Galfed kiosk has much better pricing for ore. And then before I do anything else, is there any shipbreakers here? No? I don't see anyone new. Like, there's new female law enforcement officers, but I mean, I know what they're going to say to me. They're going to tell me to piss off. Brushes me off. Yeah, okay. Yep. I've barked up that tree. Nothing but false hope. So before I sell for company script, let's see if I did part with all this ore for USD, what it would total. Oh, good lord. It's gonna be a lot. Okay, I've already surpassed my wildest guess of 600k. We're into a clean mill, more than a mill. Yep, more than a mill. I did say it's a bit too easy to make big bucks in the mining belt. The risk versus reward is all sorts of screwies. And I stand by what I said, because proof is obvious. So I'm going to do 30k worth of company script. And then the rest in money. So I don't really have to worry about regular money for, like, ever. In fact, I'm just going to sell this much for money. So now I'm up to 600k regular money. You know what? I'll sell even more regular money. Center. Okay. So we are at a point where I have 725k in USD and 35k in company script, which is like a lot. All right, here we go. So let's do 2 PDCs and all the rounds that I can buy sent to barter zone, and then I can't afford all the missiles I want. So let's do the refurbished missiles plus 4 regular ones. Accept. So that's 2 SmartLink missile launchers and 2 PDCs with like tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of ammo. Like literally measured in tons. No! Why am I hauling you, jerkwad? How do you refurbish a missile? You slap a U sign on it, as far as this game is concerned. Cancelled, not enough inventory space? Okay, yeah. These missile launchers are kind of huge, so there might not be the, like, 3x7 spot for them. I get that. So here's missile, PDC, missile, PDC. So, yeah, I'm missing 1 missile system. Got it. Alright. Oh, and I have a lot more meat that didn't get sold because it wasn't part of the barter zone, I'm assuming. So, let's fix that. Really? It really wasn't. Fixing? Okay. Good. Well, let's go back to sundries and trade that away, too. Refurbished means probably taking off ships? Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Indeed. So I had a lot of meat. I had like 200 meat worth of stuff to sell. Now we have to figure out the... And I'll save here. Adding weapons. I have to figure out how I'm going to get these weapons on my ship with the very limited amount of floors, walls, and conduit I have access to. I have access to 0 conduit other than what is in my current storage. So yeah, that's going to be a bit of a challenge, I suppose. So if we want to install these point defense systems, it might not be a bad idea to nudge sensors and focus on putting them like right up front, like here. And the argument, oh, but it can't be that close. Because the argument to be made is like, I'm going to want them to have very good line of sight on incoming anything. Because the... Oh, I can put them there? Really? Wait, seriously? Maybe I just moved the railgun. Well, the railgun's huge. That's not a terrible spot for the PDC. On both. Because I'm not necessarily against, like, sticking one railgun backwards. So I have options of whether I want to fire forwards or backwards. That could actually be a pretty decent tactic. Because firing them together doesn't really work because they travel at different velocities. So the mix and match of firing them together is kind of screwy. So I'll consider that. So if we did that, we would have coils on either side and the PDCs on either side. I kind of like that. All right, then let's pick up the stacks. And that solves like a lot of the weapon systems that I'm going to want to install. So then let's grab the bullets and start loading them in. So this one is, they're going to be full. I'm going to have more point defense rounds than I have storage for. But that's fine. It means I don't have to reload as often. That's only a positive thing. Or buy more ordnances. Let's round up all of the rounds. So what do we have here? We've got everything in the cabin should not be rounds. So there's just a few in the back that I didn't have space for. So then I'll do 3 stacks there, and then like almost 3 stacks on the other side. That resolves the PDCs. It does not, of course, resolve the rail. So if I wanted a rail, well, let's figure out the missiles first. So I'm going to pick up this beacon, and actually I'm just going to trash it. They're worth... Really? You didn't trash it. They're worth virtually nothing. They're worth like 1 company script. It's not a big deal. Why is it these double beacons? Okay. With them gone, I can start to work out where a missile launcher might be able to be installed. So visor, default, install, and then, oops, you can kind of see the depth that it would have to be installed on. So I'm going to need to bump out the reactor room, like, a bit. So that would be... But I think it makes sense to put them around here. Put them something like that. That's, or maybe the easiest. I should say it's the easiest to put it something like that. So I'm going to have to wiggle around to make that work. The other thing I realized is I do have, so turning off shadows, I have walls for it, but I don't have a lot of flooring. right? I don't think I have spare flooring. So let's go over to the kiosk over here and buy some. So I'll do the missiles and then I'll finally work out the rails, which is probably going to go in back. I just want high volume floors. I don't really care about the style or weight. So maybe do test 46 and 47, 13 and 15 apiece. And don't even bother sending the barter zone because I can just hold them. Alright, we could do... Well, let's do this side. It's clearer. So maybe something to make it easiest. Maybe I'll just have this as a flat wall. I think that would... And then uninstall these walls and bump them up. I think that would be the easiest. Which means install hull, floor, test 47... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then test 46. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then move the walls and conduits over and then see if that works. And if it doesn't work, I'll make adjustments. I'm also down to 6% suit bat, so I'll swap that now. I'm not worried about the oxygen bottle just yet. 33 is actually kind of a lot. Now I'm only going to want to change the conduit and walls one at a time, so I don't lose power to any systems. So orders, uninstall, wall and conduit. Let's get, well, before I do this, I want to get off of visor mode so I can see better. So orders, uninstall, wall conduit, 1, 2, 3, and this will leave some lights floating, which we'll remedy. But I don't have atmosphere in my reactor, so I'm not worried about atmosphere problem. Like, that's not a factor here at all. All right, then we have mobile light walls, hull, mobile light, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if I can put the missile in here, I'm going to do the conduit after I install the missile. Then we'll have like a blueprint of the changes to be made. At least in regards to the 2 missile launchers we're adding. Yep. That is a valid spot. Swell. Missile launcher in. We got missile capabilities once it's wired up. Install, power, Albright conduit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Might be more conduit than I had previously, but I'll double it up here. It's not a problem. So visor, mass, default, so I can see. And I'm out of conduit. That's not a problem. I'm going to want to move this light, so I'm going to install that next. Wherever I'm character's at. And I'll put it there. right, let's get, I think I have spare conduit in here. So I have conduit in there, and then I have conduit like in one of these bins too. Yeah, I'll grab this conduit. Because there's only one more spot that I want it. Oh, there's already a placeholder here. Oh, okay. Just resume task. Resume. Okay, what is going on? Why can't I resume? Visor. Default. Auto task. There we go. Sweet. So, perfect. Pick up this missile, put it over here. Nice. All right, let's do the other side. Orders, uninstall. Because I think that worked out quite well, and I know I still need to buy the other missile launcher, but, yeah, this is, we come up with a blueprint at least for the missiles. And yeah, it would be better if it was Orange Way, but, like, I don't have any Orange Way left, so I'm not going to fret about that. Do they explode if micrometeorite? I don't think so, but don't quote me. Alright, orders. Or install, haul. Actually, let's do conduit first. It'll be a little easier so I don't have to, like, go around the ship multiple times. All right. So I have spare floors and walls. Or a conduit. And I'm just going to put them here. So if in the case of like a micrometeorite or something like that, I can just, you know, I got spare parts back there. All right. Install all mobilite walls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Missile storage next to the reactor sounds safe. Yeah, I mean, if I'm gonna get hit, might as well just, yeah, pull the band-aid off. I'm dead, right? I mean, if it's not survivable. Without a reactor, I'm dead anyway, so might as well be painless. Thank you for tuning in to Ostranauts Fire in the Hold, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you'd like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow astronauts.